I'm Diane Williams, President and CEO of JBWS. Welcome to JBWS's 21st Annual Verizon Hope Classic. We are so excited that you've joined us for a wonderful day of golf at the beautiful Somerset Hills Country Club. Thank you for supporting JBWS's life-saving work. At JBWS, we provide safety, support, and solutions for all victims of domestic violence, and you are helping to save lives by supporting this event today. Despite COVID-19, JBWS's doors have remained open. Our Safe House emergency shelter and transitional living facility have continued to serve victims needing housing. And our community counseling programs, legal advocacy programs, children's programs, dating abuse prevention programs, the Morris Family Justice Center, and the Jersey Center for Nonviolence have all been supporting clients safely and virtually. The Verizon Hope Classic is one of JBWS's premier fundraising events. For over 20 years, this wonderful event has raised funds to support all JBWS's programs and services. This year, we've already raised over $180,000. And with your help today, we hope to get to $200,000. An event like today's doesn't happen without the hard work and dedication of JBWS staff, volunteers, and donors. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Verizon Hope Classic Committee, led by co-chairs Pete O'Hagan and Jim Torney, and honorary chair Ann Probert. This team works tirelessly over several months planning the event, securing sponsorships and foursomes, and obtaining auction items. Thank you very much to our committee members. I'd also like to thank Kelly Kurtzman and Verizon, our title sponsor. Throughout the year, Verizon provides financial support for JBWS's programs and other events. Their employees also help to raise funds and awareness about the issue of domestic violence, both locally and across the country. Thank you, Verizon. At this time, I would like to introduce someone who represents the real importance of why events like today are so critical. Someone who knows firsthand why our work must go on. It is my pleasure to introduce one of our amazing and resilient survivors.
A little background on me. Before I met my abuser, I had just moved to New York City after leaving a prestigious college for music. I was young, naive, and excited to make it in the big city. That is where we met. It was a beautiful summer night in downtown Manhattan. I was alone at a live music concert. We were both attracted to each other. But what I noticed at first was how polite and accommodating he was. Things went slowly at first, so you can imagine I was feeling that this guy is normal. He never pressured me to do anything, and he was always kind and gentle. After a year or so of dating, he asked me to be his partner. It was a very happy moment, soon to turn sour, when I learned he was not interested in having a wedding nor being legally married. I was so lost in the prospects of being with him forever, I put my desires aside and moved in with him. At that time, I was working, but when I had my first child, he told me I could no longer work and I had to stay home to be a housewife. Now, I'm not diminishing the job of a homemaker, but that just wasn't me. I had always provided for myself and never imagined that one day I would have no access to money and no knowledge of our finances. He began to slowly take away my basic freedoms. Once, I went to the grocery store while he was at work. I forgot my cell phone when I returned, and I found my cell phone full of missed calls from him. I called him back right away. "Where did you go?" he asked. I innocently explained that I went to the grocery store and forgot my phone. He told me that I am never allowed to leave the house without his prior consent. But every time I asked to go out, he said no. Over time, he gradually isolated me. I had no real friends, and he caused discord between my mother and I. I was perpetually pregnant. He would not allow me access to birth control. I had lost my sexual freedom and my ability to say no. Finally, we moved to New Jersey. Jersey's great, don't get me wrong. I just do not have any family here, which I will admit was very, very scary. Over the next 3 years, I had 2 more children and I became lost in despair. His abuse escalated to name-calling, put-downs, and occasional physical abuse. I was never allowed to accomplish anything positive for myself without him trying to make me feel incompetent. I had no individuality. I was trapped as a prisoner, subjugated to verbal and physical attacks whenever I tried to defend myself. I began to sink deeper into a dark place. I began to think of all kinds of scenarios, how I could get relief from pain, including death. I was convinced that I had an undiagnosed mental problem. That was his doing. When I would remind him of his deplorable behavior, he would respond with, "I have no idea what you're talking about. You need help. You're crazy. You really believe that happened? I feel sorry for you." Or when I would tell him how depressed I was or that I needed to get away, he would tell me that I was ungrateful and that no one would ever take care of me or love me like he would. He would say that I was lucky to have him. These things are still very difficult to speak about. I pride myself now on my independence and strength. To think I let this man destroy my entire identity for almost a decade and a half is so unreal that it feels like I'm waking from a bad dream. Then I had befriended someone who showed me empathy and somehow understood my situation. I later found out that she was a previous victim of abuse. She told me that nothing was wrong with me, but that I did need help. I didn't really believe her at first until one day my mother called me, and she was in tears. She told me, "I don't know what's wrong with you. You used to be so strong, so confident and independent. You are not the same person. You are not the woman I raised. You have to see that." Shocking, earth-shattering, and my whole reality started to slowly change. I started to wake up to the reality that nothing was right. My friend suggested I go to JBWS's Morris Family Justice Center to check on the legal implications if I took my children to my mother's in upstate New York. I went and was very nervous. I sat with a counselor for that first time, and she listened very carefully. She suggested that I go to JBWS's safe house. I thought that was crazy and unnecessary and that I could solve my own problems without subjecting my children to homelessness. I soon became a regular at the Justice Center, speaking to the counselors and calling the JBWS helpline. It is very hard for a woman trapped in this sort of situation to leave. And over the next 4 months or so, I attempted to take my freedom back at home. Reclaiming your life while living with your abuser, I later found, can lead to violence and more intense abuse as his control starts to slip. It got so extreme that I could not stay there. It was either I was locked out or he locked me in the basement. My mother tried to intervene, but that resulted in his final threat. He had a gun and told me that he would shoot me and my mother. The next day, I called the JBWS helpline and asked for a room at the shelter. All the time, my heart was racing as I packed my belongings and I got the children ready to leave once and for all. When I arrived at the safe house, I was greeted warmly. The counselor's calm demeanor kept my kids calm, and I thought I was making such a dire mistake, but actually, it became the best thing that ever happened to me. During my time there, I received education on domestic abuse, counseling service, legal help, and childcare. All the resources I needed were at my disposal at a time when everything else was so uncertain. JBWS gave me the ability to concentrate on getting a job, finding housing, getting Medicaid benefits, and winning the biggest legal fight of my life. Most importantly, I gained my self-esteem. I was not crazy. Today, my children and I live in a quaint little historic town in Morris County. I own my own vehicle and home. I now have a successful career in business as a regional manager for a global company. I am fully independent. I see myself in the women still going through this, and I try my best to lend my voice. The ghost of my abuser's voice used to ring in my head, but now I have replaced it with, yes, I am valuable. Yes, I am independent. Yes, I'm strong, and I did it without him. Thank you, JBWS, for all the gifts you gave and continue to give women all over New Jersey. And thank you to all of those who support this wonderful organization.
Thank you so much for sharing your compelling story. You are truly an inspiration, and we're so grateful for your strength and grace that allowed you to share your journey with us. There are countless stories like hers. which is why we are inviting each of you to help the thousands of clients we serve each year who need our help now more than ever. Please text VHC 2020 to 76278 or visit vhc2020.givesmart.com. Each and every donation helps. Please help us #answer the call by donating today. You can also invite your friends and family members to #answer the call by texting VHC 2020 to 76278. Thank you.
We now invite you to directly help victims impacted by domestic violence. Fund the Mission is an exciting part of our program where you can actively participate in directly supporting the life-saving services provided by JBWS. Here to tell you about a few ways your generous contribution can make a difference is some of our JBWS staff. Thank you.
Your donation of $5,000 can provide 5 weeks of emergency shelter, food, and counseling for a victim and their children.
Your donation of $2,500 can provide 25 clients with legal advocacy services.
Your donation of $1,000 can provide 15 weeks of group domestic violence counseling.
Your donation of $500 provides summer camp for 2 weeks for one child while their parent retains their job.
Your donation of $250 can provide 3 group vocational training workshops.
Your donation of $100 can provide dating abuse prevention presentations to 3 area high schools, reaching approximately 90 students.
Your donation in any amount will make a difference in helping JBWS provide safety, support, and solutions for abuse. Thank you.
Thank you to our amazing staff and volunteers for participating in today's program and for highlighting how each and every donation makes such a difference. Hi, I'm Kelly Kurtzman from Verizon, and we're so excited to once again provide support to assist in JBWS's life-saving work. Thank you all for tuning in today and for your support of the 21st Annual Verizon Hope Classic. Verizon has been a proud supporter of JBWS for over 20 years. The issue of domestic violence is important to us. We know domestic violence impacts our Verizon team members and our customers. 1 in 4 women, 1 in 3 teens, and 1 in 7 men will be victims of domestic violence at some point in their lives. And we know firsthand how domestic violence impacts the safety, health, and well-being of our Verizon team. This is why Verizon is committed to doing our part to support JBWS programs and special events. It is also why we raise awareness about the issue of domestic violence throughout the year, and especially during October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. As a Verizon Hope Classic member myself, I'd like to recognize my colleagues on the committee. In addition to Pete O'Hagan, Jim Torney, and Ann Probert as our chairs, our hardworking team members include Natalie Dennis, Mary Grace Finn, Ken Lane, Helen Lafoy, Virginia McBride, Cricket Newfrock, Jeff Simon, and Diane Williams. Thank you all for making this event such a huge success. I'd like to thank and recognize all of our sponsors, golfers, and everyone who contributed to today's awesome auction. So now I invite all of you to make a difference. Please help us #answer the call by texting VHC 2020 to 76278. Once on the GiveSmart site, you'll be able to participate in the auction and make a donation. Thank you again for your participation and support. Diane, back to you.
Thank you, Kelly. In addition to Verizon, I'd also like to recognize and thank our sponsors and contributors. A complete list of all of our generous supporters can be found in the digital program on the GiveSmart site. Please check it out. Throughout the day, please continue to browse the GiveSmart site to check your bids on our fabulous auction items. There's something for everyone, including golf-related items, signed sports memorabilia, electronics, and wonderful wine. And please don't forget to help us #answer the call by texting VHC 2020 to 76278. We invite you all to make a difference in the lives of families impacted by domestic violence and become a part of JBWS's mission to end it in our community. Thank you again for participating in the 21st Annual Verizon Hope Classic.